Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is all about incoming colors and outgoing products. My name is Karen Sliwinski. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I live in Akron, Ohio. So as a demonstrator, you can pre-order some of the products. Not all of the products that are going to come out in our new catalog, which comes out I think on May 6th, but we can get some of them. And one of the things that I got were the new in colors. So every year Stampin' Up! Has 5 new what they call in colors. And they stay around for 2 years and then they transition out. So there's always a rotating mix of 10 in colors. So I'm going to show you those 5 new in colors. And then I want to feature some of the products that I love that are retiring and are on our last chance list. So I hope that this inspires you to get some of these products if you don't already have them. I will have links to them in my store. Now they are on the last chance list, so maybe before this video gets published, some of them will sell out. I hope not. I hope they're available for you. But there are some really good ones out there, and I really am sad to see many of them go. So we're going to make a card today. So this is the card that we're going to make. This is in the color called Strawberry Slush, but we're going to make it in another color called Timid Tiger. But I'm going to show you all those colors and I'm going to show you what they look like compared to some of our other current colors. So you'll get a sense of what these new fun in colors are. So are you ready to make some fun cards or see some fun cards and say goodbye to some, very much loved products and welcome all these bright new colors? Let me begin by introducing the brand new in colors. So this first one is called Timid Tiger. This is Strawberry Slush, and that's what my sample card was made with. Then we had Darling Duckling, and then Secret Sea. Now, I always want to call this one Stormy Sea, so if I say Stormy Sea, please forgive me. It is Secret Sea. And this last one is called Cloud Cover. So let's look at some of our existing colors and how they compare. So I'll start out with Timid Tiger here. And then the 2 colors that are, I guess, closest are Pumpkin Pie and Peach Pie. So as you can see, it's more of it has a little bit softness to it. Softness, that doesn't make sense. Softness to it. It's a little bit more pastel, if you will. So it's not nearly as bright as the Pumpkin Pie. I think it actually looks pretty good when you pair it with the Peach Pie. So that is the first one, Timid Tiger. Then our next one is, oops, this is not the right one. This is the right one over here. This is Strawberry Slush. So again, it's a little bit more on the pastel side. It's got a little, maybe white tones to it. And I think it compares best when you look at Melon Mambo. And actually, those 2 look pretty good together. And Real Red. So it's not a red and it's not a pink. It's sort of somewhere in between. All right. Then our next one is called Darling Duckling. All right. So that's this one here. And that looks really pretty. And it looks very bright yellow. But if you were to compare that with Daffodil Delight, there you can see this goes definitely more toward the green side of things than it does this bright yellow. But on its own, it looks pretty bright. And here it is with Lemon Lolly. So that gives you that comparison. The other color that I'm going to compare with is Crushed Curry. So that is way deeper and way richer of a color. But actually, those 2 go very well together. So that is that Darling Duckling. The next one is called our Secret Sea, and it is a dark blue. It has got a little bit more depth to it. So this is Night of Navy. And that's really the only really good comparison that I have. So this is much more darker. It's got some grayness to the colors. I don't know how else to describe it, but definitely much deeper than our Night of Navy. And actually this is, to me, it looks a little bit more traditional navy than this one. And then this last one is called Cloud Cover. So this one is in the blue family, but it's a very much a gray blue. I guess it looks like a lot of our cloudy skies here that we have in Northeast Ohio. And so to compare that one, this is Smoky Slate, so it definitely leans more toward the blue. This is Balmy Blue. So yes, you can definitely see the blue tones pairing with it, but dulled down. And then this one is Misty Moonlight. So I just pulled that one in because I really like these two colors together. So that gives you an idea of what the colors look like. Now for the inks. So, oops, I didn't put my label on this one, my Secret Sea one. But these are the colors that are available. And you're going, wait a minute, you're missing one. Yes, that is true. So right now, the Cloud Cover ink is not available. When that came in, it did not meet the quality standards of Stampin' Up. So that is one of the things I'm very proud of my company, because they do have very high standards, and they're not going to just release a product because it's in our catalog. It did not meet the quality standards, so it is not available at this time. But we do have other things that are coming in these colors. Obviously, we're going to have papers, and we're going to have embellishments. We're going to have the Stampin' Blends and the markers. So there's going to be a full range of colors, and you're going to see that I still made cards with all 5 of the colors, and they look fabulous. So what do you say we get started with this card? So when we look at this card, here's my envelope and the card. I love, love, love this die set. This is called the Wanted to Say dies. And when we look at that, obviously I have 2 of them out, but this is a stamps or a die set that I use all the time, especially the happy birthday greeting, but there's celebrate and you're too kind. So that's a nice thank you one. Plus it has a few other little fun dies. So I love the stamp set. I am definitely going to miss that one a great deal. So we're going to be using that. We're also going to be using the dies that I use for this one, which is the Something Fancy dies. So that's what these dies look like. So these are really good label dies, and they've got some nesting ones. So we have this one that I've got out, which is the 3rd size of this one. So some really nice label shapes, and I will definitely miss this one. And then the 2 stamp sets that we're going to use are the Sketched Plaid and the So Sincere. And So Sincere is one of my go-to ones. I love so many of these sentiments. It's just, oh, it's so hard when you have a set that you use over and over to say goodbye to it. But if you don't have this one and the Wanted to Say dies, those are definitely at the top of my list. All right, so let's set this card aside. What do we need to make this beautiful card? Let me grab all my supplies here. So we have our envelope. Now our card base on this one is a little bit different. So normally it's 8.5 by 5.5, but this one is an 5.5 by only 6.5. So I've already scored that. So I am just going to fold that over and crease that. Okay, so that is our card base, which we can set aside. So set that aside with my envelope. Then we are going to need some of this Timid Tiger, and this is to do all of our die cutting. So this is about a 4.5-inch square. We're going to need a small piece of basic white. This is so that we can cut out the inside of our, or the bubble part of our Feel Better Soon. And then we're going to need 2 pieces of basic white that are 4 by 5.25. So one will be for the inside and one is going to be for the outside. All right, so let's go ahead and set that aside. So for this one, I'm going to grab my big plaid. So I do have it on a big block, but you don't have to put this one on a block. If you just want to put this on a surface upside down, I do like to ink it and then put my paper on it so it is upside down. So, you know, you can do it that way. It makes it really easy. You don't have to have a giant block. So then I'm going to grab my Timid Tiger and I'm going to ink this up. Okay. So get nice full coverage. This panel that I'm going to put on will actually fill the majority of this. All right, close this for now. And then what I like to just do is kind of hold it and then set it down. And then I've got a piece of scrap paper. So then I'm going to actually use my block. This gives me nice even pressure. I just don't want to shift that paper that I put on top. Okay, peel this off, and then, oops, there is the reveal. Now, I did smudge a little bit there. As I was lifting it off, it kind of slid, but I think that'll be okay. So that is our first one, but I'm going to go ahead and do our envelope because I've got this big inky block. I might as well get that done while we've got this out. So this one, I only have to ink up part of it because I'm just going to ink up the side of my envelope. So I'm going to do pretty much the same thing I did with that panel. So here's my envelope, and I want to ink up this side of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this down. Just trying to eyeball it. Okay. And then give that a press. Might as well bring in my block. Okay, and then I lifted it off there. I did a little bit better job with that one. So there I have the side of my envelope. I'm going to set this aside so I don't get ink everywhere. Okay, then we are ready to start doing our other pieces. So let us get this piece here. So for this, we're going to cut out a couple things. So I'm going to use this shape die, and I am going to do some partial die cutting. What does that mean? Well, I do have a video that I can link, but I'm going to just show you. I'm going to elongate this because it's just a little bit too short, as you can see from this. So I want to make it about 3/8 of an inch longer. So when I put this on my cutting plate, I'm going to place my top plate like so. And then I'm going to run it through. So it's going to only cut this part here. And then when it's cut, then I'm going to move this down a little bit and put it on the opposite way. So this part's already been cut, and now I'm going to cut the bottom part. So that's how I'm going to elongate that die. And then I'm also going to cut out the Feel Better Soon, and I'm going to cut out some flowers, 3 flowers, and some hearts. So I have already done that. So I'm just going to set this aside. I wanted to save us some time. And at the same time, this is the bubble part of that Feel Better Soon. So that goes on this piece of paper. And I have cut all that out. So I'll bring this over here. So we've got our elongated shape. Again, I'm going to just show you. See, that's how the original was, and then I extended it. All right, and then I have my Feel Better Soon. 1, 2, 3 flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down my Feel Better Soon. So I like using this fine tip applicator for my glue. This is something that I offer to my customers when they buy my adhesive package. So they buy this adhesive package, and it has dimensionals, both the mini and the regular size. It has a box of the mini glue dots, which are really great when you're working with ribbons and things that just need a little bit of adhesive tucked underneath them to give them a little bit of elevation. They're sort of like a dimensional, but just much shallower. So those mini glue dots are in there. And then as well, we have multi-purpose glue, which is my go-to adhesive. You see me use that all the time. So when you buy that little package from me, I give you this little bottle. So now I'm just going to layer that right on here. Let me get standing up so I can see this. All right. And then what I like to do is just turn this over, and then I'm going to put my block on it and just kind of give it a nice little press like this. All right. So then this is going to go right on here. So then I can actually glue that down because we're not going to pop that up. You could pop it up, but I think this whole label is going to be popped up, and that gives enough dimension. So we're not going to pop this up in addition to that other one. Okay, so that's going to go right here in the middle of this label. Okay. Again, give that a really nice press. All right, then we're going to go back to that panel that we did with the plaid. So I'm going to grab that, and this is a 4x5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this in half. So this is now going to be a 2-inch. Okay. So here we're going to go. I'm just trying to decide which way I'm going to put it. I think I will put it this way, and I think I'm going to be able to put a flower over that little splotch. So this is going to go on our card front. I'm going to turn this over. I'm just keeping the orientation of this one, and I want it to be like it's a continuous pattern of this plaid. So that's why I've just kind of turned it over like that. So this is going, and you're just going to give a nice even border all the way around. Okay. And then we're going to grab that other white panel, and this is going to go on the inside, and this is going to go right here. Now you could do another small piece. You could put another piece of white that's thinner, but I chose not to. So I'm just going to set this here for now, and I'm going to open up my ink pad, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So the reason I am not gluing that down yet is I want to make sure that I stamp nicely. And if I were to mess that up, then I would have the opportunity to turn it over before this was stuck down. So since that's good, I can go ahead and stick this on here. So again, I'm just using my little bit of glue. Okay, and then this is going to go right to this very edge. Okay, I just want to make sure that I have it. So kind of slide it in place. Okay, and then this is going to go on the inside of a card. What do you think of this color? Isn't it pretty? You know, when they tell us the names of these colors, it's like, oh, I'm just trying to envision what this would be. Timid Tiger. But it really is a lovely color. All right, so there is that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my little hearts. So these are little bonuses that come with that wanted to say die set. Let's get a little bit glue there. And I'm going to just stick those right here. And this is going to be covered up because we have our label, so you won't see that. So now the thing to do is we're going to pop this up, but you do have to be conscious that this is going over both sides. So we only want to put our dimensionals on this half of our label. So I'm just being very conscious that it's only on that left side over here of my card front. Get this out of the way. So I'm going to close this up and pretty much just eyeball it right there in the center. So now when that opens up, it covers up those hearts. All right, then for my little flowers, I'm going to use mini dimensionals, and they're going to go right there in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to just give them a little bit of dimension with my fingernails. So let's put one there. Okay, give it a little bit of curve, a little bit of movement to it. I'm going to add that one there. And then this last one is going to go right down over there. Now, this is something else that is retiring. This was in our annual catalog. So these are adhesive-backed dapple dots. While this isn't the same color, Timid Tiger, this is a color that has white little crackleness to it into the peach pie, and it looks beautiful with this. So I'm just going to put those in the middle of my 3 flowers. Give that a little press. And there. So there we have this beautiful card. Our Feel Better Soon with our little flowers, and You're in My Hearts and Prayers. And there is our envelope. So what do you think? How do you like our Timid Tiger? And I am very curious of these two So we've got Timid Tiger and Strawberry Slush. So of these two colors, which one is your favorite? I think they're both great. So let's move that out of the way. Would you like to see some of the other things I've made? I hope so. So I'm going to keep those up here. So this next one is another set, and I used the Happy Birthday from that same Wanted to Say dies. Like I said, I have used this one so many times. It's such a versatile one, and I really love it for masculine cards. So here I've used Happy Birthday, and then I've used on the inside, Hooray for Surprises. This has some really good birthday sentiments. I love using this one for birthdays. And then I used the Take to the Skies Designer Series paper. And while it wasn't meant to coordinate with this Secret Sea, I think it looks great with it. So here, Make a Wish, Happy Birthday. This next one is with the Cheerful Daisies bundle, okay? So this one is a beautiful set. I love these daisies. There's some really great dies in with this set. So I've used the Darling Duckling on this one. I think I used a little bit of the Pecan Pie, and I paired it with Old Olive. And I think that is a great combination for this pairing. There is my envelope. And then for the inside, Hope Your Day is a Happy One. Again, that is from the So Sincere set. So I use that one quite a bit. Oh, this next one, I'm also very sad. Both of these products, I love, love, love this embossing folder. This is the Distressed Tile embossing folder, and it is one of my go-to ones all the time. It just is a beautiful background. It is not too indicative of a season. It's just so versatile. And then this stamp set is the Memorable Blooms, and I fell in love with this one. You've probably seen a lot of cards that I posted with this one. So you might be asking me, how did I color this? Because the blends aren't available for us as demonstrators yet. How did I do this? So I picked up some of the ink with a block. Let's look a little closer. You can see that I used the Strawberry Slush here in the middle of my flower. So I just picked it up with my water painter. Now, you really shouldn't do this on regular paper, but if you're doing it very lightly and not a really big area, you can get away with it. Normally, I would only do that on watercolor paper, but it worked with this one. And then, can you see that sparkle? I added Wink of Stella on all of the flowers. So I really like how this one turned out. And there is the inside. Again, more Wink of Stella on those flowers. And I just put some of the leaves on the envelope. Okay, next one, Happiest Day. Oh, I love Happiest Day. I've used this set so many times. And so this is some twine. This is actually from a product that came out in one of our most recent online exclusives products, and it was a sneak peek of the incoming colors. This is the Pack Your Bags twine. It's a 3-pack, and I just like, oh, I'm going to use that Strawberry Slush. So I used my stamp set, The Happiest Day, to decorate 3 pieces in some different textures from that stamp set. I added some of my in-color dots, and then I used the, this is Basic Beige, and then, I don't know if I wrote down what this one was. Oh, these are the Something Fancy dies. Sorry, I did write it down on my note. And then You're the Best. So I put some of those stars along the bottom and on my envelope. So if you don't have this one, Happiest Day is a great stamp set. All right, next one, Sentimental Park. So if you remember, a little bit ago when I was doing my Color Buddies video, I used this one. I love this whole stamp set. I love the dies that go with it. Look at this beautiful one. So it cuts out this label, and then it cuts out this little floral label that this other label tucks into. So for this one, I used the cloud cover as my panel, and then I stamped it in the flowers with the Secret Sea. And then for the inside of this one, because I didn't have cloud cover to stamp off or to stamp my flowers, I just stamped off with the Secret Sea for the inside of my flowers, and that really turned out quite well. And then this is the envelope for that one. Oh, the Country Flowers, that's the other thing. That is another retiring set. This beautiful With Heartfelt Sympathy is from that one, and I love, 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 love that one as well. I hate to say goodbye to anything, can you tell? All right, this next one is from the Autumn Leaves set and then the Dashing Designs. And so this one here is an embossing folder that just gives this really cool texture. So I really like that one. And then this shape here is from the Linked Together dies. So this has this diamond. It also has an oval. So I added a little bit of linen thread to this one, put it on my crumb cake base, and then here is the inside of that one and that one. So it is featuring this beautiful Darling Duckling. And I think when we get to the fall, you're going to love seeing this in a lot of our cards. And then this last one is a set called Beside Me, which is really good for Father's Day and anybody who has little kids, you know, them and their dad. So I do have to apologize. This set of dies, which is the Everyday Details dies, I had mixed up with my other ones that are on the going gone list, or last chance, I guess. And this one is already gone. It has been gone, but I did use it on this card. And so for this one, this paper here, I spritzed it with alcohol and I crumpled it all up. And then I flattened it out. And when you do that, you can kind of see that it distresses it. You get these edges that are all worn, and it gives it a very unique background. So I colored this with blends, and I made this into a really cute Father's Day card. So there we go. We have a whole bunch of Outgoing products. Things are on the last chance list. You don't want to miss out on those, so please check out my store. I will have links to the products that I've used. If they're still available, I can still put the links on there. If you have any questions, contact me. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and share it with your crafty friends. I do appreciate getting comments. I love reading them, and it helps me to grow my business and provide videos like this for you for free. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.